Welcome to the 42 Below Barrel House from 42 North Brewing Company. I am head brewer Matt Matuszewski, sitting here now amongst our majority of our barrel project. I have about 55 to 60 barrels containing a variety of both clean and sour beers. We were the first and currently only barrel house in Western New York. We felt it was something that the Buffalo market was ready for. Nobody else was offering it. Breweries were doing a barrel project here or there, but we kind of jumped in head first and started off with roughly 30 barrels in our program, and at this point we've expanded to about 55 to 60 barrels at any given time.
My name is Taggart, and I am the lab manager at 42 North Brewing. And my duties include taking care of the yeast, fermentation management. I collect a lot of data when we're fermenting beers to make sure everything's on track. A lot of microbiology work to make sure our beers are coming out clean and have a good shelf life. And then work with the brewing team to manage this barrel program, which involves a lot of tasting and blending and tracking barrels along the way to make sure we can put together some good products. For me, the difference is when I'm working in the main brew house, it has a very science-oriented feel. I'm looking at the attenuation curves for the fermentations, making sure all the yeast are eating up all the sugars and landing right at the spots where we want them. We really dial in those beers pretty well. And so I want to make sure those perform consistently every time so that people are getting the product they want out of a Borderland or out of this Island Porter. Whereas in the barrel house, I'd say that's more of the art side of brewing. I mean, here we're doing something more akin to painting on a canvas. We're tasting the different elements from different barrels. The barrels vary pretty distinctly in flavor profile based on the type of barrel you're using, the type of yeast culture you're using, the bacteria that's in there. And then we try to blend together things that work and draw out flavors in a more nuanced way. So I definitely see the production side as more scientific, and the barrel house has more of an art to it. Barrel aging of beers is really something that's kind of at the forefront of the craft brewing movement. But it takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of artistry to kind of put together a barrel program and see it through to creating some of the cool flavors that we can, the rustic, the funky, the sour. The barrel program started with just 2 barrels. Basically started because of our love of Belgian-inspired sour beers. Since that time, we've collected red wine barrels, white wine barrels, a lot of Chardonnay, some rum, some whiskey. The process of barrel aging is kind of neat because the barrel itself adds a lot of character, but the vessel that it is helps develop the flavor in that it provides really small doses of oxygen to the beer over time, which can help round out flavors. It feeds the culture.
Some of these projects have been going for anywhere from 1 to 3 years, so it's really kind of a long-term game. A lot of tasting, blending, trying to wait till you're, at that right moment. You want to get the beer when it's at its peak. Sometimes that could take 6 months, sometimes it could take a couple of years. You got to have faith in your process and, what your finished product's going to be. It's nice to get out and, again, support the Buffalo community, and there's a lot of things that are, offered here. Working on a Krupnik project with Buffalo Distilling. So we came up with a project to work in conjunction with them. They have a beautiful, delicious Krupnik. So we worked with Kevin from 1 Foot Cock to kind of come up with an idea for a big beer to put in the barrels with that.
My name is Kevin Ford. I'm head distiller here at Buffalo Distilling Company. Buffalo Distilling Company is a grain-to-glass distillery here in Buffalo, New York, right in Larkinville, actually. We make a wide variety of fine spirits, start to finish, from local ingredients. We had a lot of fun working with 42 North at the Borderland Music and Arts Festival out in East Aurora this summer, when we talked about maybe putting a little bit of their beer and a little bit of our barrels. It sounded perfect. First time a barrel comes into our facility, it's brand new, charred from cooperage. We fill them with bourbon. Legally, that's how bourbon's made. It goes into a brand new barrel every time. From there, we empty it 2 to 3 years later. We add apple brandy. That sits in there for 3 or 4 years. From there, we pull it and we add Krupnik. Krupnik is a spiced honey liqueur, said to have originated out of Poland. It starts for us as vodka. We make it from scratch, start to finish, from local corn. And then we blend local raw honey We get that from small apiaries around New York State. The last batch came from Bennington, so super close to home. Really nice, fresh, bright honey. From there, we hand zest citrus fruit and crush 13 or 14 different spices into our spirit, and then blend it to be a nice, light, true to craft, locally sourced spirit.
It's kind of neat how the barrels have this journey from, Europe to the U.S. and then eventually to our hands, and maybe we'll carry on again. Kind of adds some mystique to the beers we end up making.